What's going on, guys? Back with another Wizards video. Now, the Washington Wizards have captured the 8th seed. Now, if you would have told me this a couple months ago that the Wizards would be in the 8th seed, potentially 7th seed, when everything was said and done, I would have called you crazy. I think a lot of people would agree with me with that too, because things was looking rough. Just not too long ago, Wizards was in the mud. But the tides have turned. Things have changed. Matter of fact, I want to give a couple shout outs to the people I think is the biggest reasons for this turnaround. I'm going to start off the list with Tommy Shepard, because I think that Daniel Gafford trade, it had a huge impact on this Wizards turnaround. I mean, his energy, his defensive presence, his athleticism. I mean, every time he stepped foot on the court, when Scott Brooks actually wants to give him decent minutes, every time he steps on the court, I mean, instant impact. Almost every single time, instant impact. And the Wizards got him for pretty much nothing. And he cheap for a couple more years. You want to talk about a W? That's a W if I ever heard of it. So Tommy Shepard, shout out you, man. Shout out. It's a big shout out. Next, Russ and Brad, obviously. Those two dudes have been playing out of their minds. Bradley Beal today was playing with his hamstring falling off his bone. And he was still toughing it out. Getting buckets. You know, Russ has been on a tear. I mean, averaging a triple-double. I mean, the level that Russell Westbrook has been playing at recently. I mean, I wouldn't want to be a team going up against the Wizards. I wouldn't. Not in the first round. You know, those two dudes, they were playing out of their minds, man. They really have. You know, Brad was doing this thing the whole season. Russ was injured to begin. But once he got healthy, he started turning it up. One of the first flashes we seen was against the Brooklyn Nets when he dropped like 40 points. You know, now we kind of knew Russ was like about to get back to that level. So those two guys obviously get the shout out. Third shout out I want to give as to why I think the Wizards turned around their season. Scott Brooks will not be on the list. You get no love. You shouldn't be here. You are not going to be here next season. We're going to have Russ. We're going to have Brad. We're going to have Rui, Daniel Gafford. Everybody going to be back except for you, Scott. So you get no love from me. You do not get it. You do get a shout out, actually. You get a shout out because I'm going to be so happy when you gone. But that's besides the point. I mean, the turnaround the Wizards have had this season, I mean, it's been crazy. You know, yes, you can say, and I kind of hate to look at things like this, very so pessimistic. Like, oh, it's just, you know, the 10th seed is just a play-in. I mean, which is true, but I think it's how you go about obtaining these things. Like, yeah, they were fighting for the 8th seed, but when you look at it in context of where they were coming from and how everything started off, earlier, fans was talking about trying to get Jalen Suggs and Evan Mobley or Cade Cunningham. Like a month or two ago. You know, to go from that to the 8th, potentially 7th seed. You know, I have another video coming up talking about the Boston-Washington matchup because Boston, Jaylen Brown is injured. That's huge. Wizards are hot. I mean, they can honestly take that game. I don't see why they couldn't. But that's for another video. But I was just very impressed with the fight in the game against the Charlotte Hornets today. I was very impressed with the fight. Bradley Beal had to fight through injury. You know, he struggled out the beginning. I mean, his shooting percentages wasn't good. But when you talk about a guy not playing at 100% with a hamstring injury, and everybody knows how hamstring injuries can linger and how they can make a player uncomfortable and the player be in and out of the lineup because hamstrings are tricky. He was a dog. He was a beast for finishing out that game. I didn't think he should play, but I'm not the coach. I mean, you would have to shoot the guy for him not to play. So, I mean, that's just the type of guy Bradley Beal, is. Russell Westbrook, he has been a great leader. I think he has done a lot of really good for this team and franchise. He's boosted the value, popularity-wise, obviously. But, I think he's definitely helped the Washington Wizards gain a personality of, just being a dog. Just fighting, scrapping. No matter, like for instance, Russ may be shooting 5 for 15 from the field. But he's still going to do him. He's still going to play like he's shooting 10 for 10. And I think the Wizards have that, have grown to have that type of mentality. Like today, they were down pretty much the whole game. They were down the whole game against the Hornets. But they kept chipping away. They kept fighting. They didn't give up. They didn't quit. And I think that is different from past years with this Wizards team. And I do think a lot of that is due to Russell Westbrook and his mentality. His motto was why not? And I think the Wizards have really, accepted that mantra. So shout out to Russell Westbrook once again, because I definitely think he has had a huge impact on the team and the organization as a whole. Man, it's definitely crazy. I did not think I would be talking about Wizards playoff basketball after, just so much anger and disappointment after game after game after game earlier in the season. I mean, I definitely thought the Wizards should have been a playoff team. You had Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook on your team. That's what I was more upset about, because it's like, there's no way you have those two guys and you don't make the playoffs. Well, they made the playoffs. And for the people who, are cautious and like, I'm sorry if you hear my cat. I got him locked out of my room. But for the people who are cautious and, just more pessimistic about it just being the AFC, man, you got to be happy, man. You got to be happy. Enjoy the little things. Yes, it would have been wonderful if the Wizards were the 4th or 5th seed, 3rd seed. They didn't have to play in the play-in. Yes, in a perfect world. But you gotta take the small dubs, man. You gotta take the small dubs and be happy, or else, you ain't gonna never be happy. So you gotta take the small victories, man. The work ain't done yet. The Wizards know that. Fans know that. But everybody happy right now. Because that could change at a moment's notice. So enjoy it for right now, guys. But that's all I got for you guys today. Like I said, I will be coming out with a Celtics Wizards preview and how I think things will turn out. So be sure to tune in for that. But until next time, guys, I'll be back at you with another video.